Okay. Well, obviously, I'm delighted to be invited just to introduce Malcolm. Today, we honour Malcolm, really, for his contribution to the healthcare of people with mental health problems and his support for NAPICU in particular. I've known Malcolm for almost 20 years and regard him as one of my close friends and confidants, and I'd like to provide an insight to him as a professional, but also as a person. Malcolm can exhilarate and exasperate in equal measures, but is always immense fun to be around. Well, let's begin his story. Malcolm began his career at an early age and can be seen here on his first day at Whittingham Hospital. And that indeed is where Malcolm commenced his career. It's just on the outskirts of Preston, where Malcolm's lived all his life. The Whittingham Hospital was a fourth county lunatic asylum, as it was called at the time, opened in 1893. It's a place that had its own train station, theatre, hospital brass band and orchestra, church, post office, and the patient population rose to over 3,500 people, which made it the largest in the country at that time. So it's an idea about what shaped you as a person going forward. And I think what really did mark Malcolm, and he often talked about this, is when he joined that hospital in 1965, the magazine that was there published 2 articles touching upon shortcomings in student training on the wards, and were followed by letters from students, Malcolm amongst that group, complaining about conditions which were ignored by the then hospital management committee. And that rumbled on, and in '67 a meeting was held, and the head male nurse at the time threatened the students with actual libel action. He said he would take them to court if they continued to complain about conditions there, but they wouldn't, and they continued. And those of you who know your history will know it was one of the first major investigations in the country, which led to widespread proving of mistreatment of patients. And also, at that time, they discovered £49,000 of patient monies missing in 1 year alone. That was in 1968. Malcolm moved on from sort of Whittingham. Here he can be seen at the back row on the right-hand side. And this is why I enjoyed his general training so much, I think. And he often fondly refers back to these times. Again, was in Preston. And I've just sort of highlighted there what I've called his road to stardom. I don't intend to go through that, but you'll see he actually started after the North West, working in Manchester, Director of Nursing in Wigan, before moving on to his job at Salford, where he was for many years before the Department of Health. But not mentioned here are Malcolm's time as a nurse member of the Ashworth Hospital Task Force, which supported the hospital and its recovery from the Blom-Cooper inquiry, where Malcolm and I first got to know each other. I was a newly appointed Director of Nursing in Ashworth after the Blom-Cooper inquiry, and Malcolm worked in a task force alongside me at that time. His contribution there was absolutely enormous, and championing battles to support nursing, which at that time was in real danger of being marginalised. I don't think people realise the fights that were going on behind the scenes at that time. And also an enormous support for the ward managers who were newly appointed at that time in their quest to modernise what was a long neglected service. And his publication, which has already been referred to, Freedom of Care to Care, which was developed during that time, is still good today, I think, as a framework for service development for professional standards in forensic psychiatry. And I would still commend people to get hold of that and actually reflect upon it. But he's not just about the jobs he's held, really. Whilst many of you might know Malcolm through his various senior positions he held, what is often less well known is commitment to a wide range of voluntary and charitable projects, where he voluntarily gives of his own time despite his busy workload. And Malcolm's strengths are that he's a prodigious networker and seems to know everyone. Also, he works extremely hard at whatever he's engaged with, often to an extreme level. And he, as Stephen's mentioned, he's mentored a huge number of people at various stages of their career, freely giving of their time. Usually holding meetings around his kitchen table there in Preston, if any of you have actually been subjected to those. And to make it onto Malcolm's email list, which is hundreds of people long, means you're regularly bombarded with new information, but also with the expectation that you will contribute when called upon. Malcolm, quite rightly, has received a range of honours going back to '96. You can see there with the OBE and various fellowships that are there. And I think he's proud to add the NAPICU one to his various honours. But also, I thought I'd just mention Malcolm outside of work. And I list here some of his very active interests, if you like. And if he has a fault, and it's arguable that it is a fault, he packs too much in. To spend time with Malcolm can often leave you exhausted, exasperated, but usually exhilarated. And I'll give you one example. After one sort of meeting we had at the Department of Health, it was really tight for us to get this train back to Preston. And I don't know if you've ever dashed across London trying to catch a train, but it's no easy task. And if you can imagine the sort of thing, looking at your watch, shooting down to the tube station, thinking, is this tube train going to be here? And it was very tight margins. And we managed to get to Euston, flying up those stairs there at Euston, just to go into that concourse. And as we arrived there, we literally got there, and we had 5 minutes to spare. I looked at it, I thought, thank goodness we can stroll down there. And Malcolm turned to me and says, hang on, I'll just get a soup. And I thought, it packs that bit extra in, if you like, that's there. Malcolm's enjoyed a rich career and life, and I reflected upon the Kipling poem, If. And there's a line in there which says, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Malcolm seems to have used this as his philosophy for life and has reaped the rich rewards for that, as we all have as a consequence. I'd like to add my personal and heartfelt congratulations to Malcolm for being the first recipient of a NAPICU fellowship. It's an accolade, I think, that is well deserved.